Stay tuned next for Your Sports IQ on WHET with your hosts Jim Nance, Daryl Johnson, and Chris Heens. The phone number is 893-4708.
Good evening. Boston Red Sox fired today. Manager Daryl Johnson, which now gives me a monopoly on my name again. Sorry to hear that Daryl was fired. Third base coach Don Zimmerman will take over for the remainder of the season. Now, General Manager Dick O'Connell says the ball club has not performed to its capabilities. Wonder how you figure that out. This year. Last year they did all right, but this year they haven't performed to their capabilities. And hopefully, he says, a change at this time will make the team play better. Changed the wrong person. Carlton Fisk should have gone with Daryl Johnson.
Tough being a coach, ain't it?
Yeah, it is. It's tough being Daryl Johnson. O'Connell, that's not funny. Let's get serious. O'Connell said Johnson cannot be blamed for everything, but it's easier to change managers than a whole team, which would be practically impossible, O'Connell says. And right now, the Boston Red Sox are 13 games behind the New York Yankees.
Well, in baseball today, St. Louis and the Giants are squaring off. Through 3 innings, it's 1-1. Bob Forsch, 4-4 on the mound for the Cardinals. John DeQuisto, 0-5 on the mound for the Giants. And in another baseball note, Cleveland Indians coach Rocky Colavito, he's been given a 3-day suspension today by the American League for bumping umpire Rich Garcia in a game against the Chicago White Sox. Colavito also was fined $100 for the incident, so apparently...
Only $100?
They don't want that bump.
He should have bumped him a little more for $100.
Let's see, Jim, the Olympics started, and after all the political hassles...
Did you watch the Olympics last night?
Yes, I did. Was very impressed by the gymnastics competition and one Nadia Comaneci,
right,
14 years old from Romania.
We talked about her a couple of weeks ago.
Outstanding athlete, but... On the other side of the ledger, the American women today did not fare that well. The basketball team was jolted by Japan 84-71, and only one of 3 women qualified for tonight's finals of the 200-meter butterfly. That's Karen Moe Thornton, and she won the 72 gold medal in the event under her maiden name, Karen Moe, and now she's married, and she's going to challenge the East Germans in that event. The Russians suffered a setback today when Boris Onyshenko, he was a silver medal winner at Munich, well, he was thrown out of the games during the fencing portion of the modern pentathlon. An official said his sword had been wired in such a way that it would score a winning hit without ever making a contact with anything. And in boxing news, Louis Curtis of Washington, D.C., a light flyweight, well, he was the first American boxer to be eliminated when he lost a unanimous decision to a Polish opponent.
And just one little quick football note. Tight end Charlie Sanders of the Detroit Lions says a groin injury he suffered last year hasn't healed properly, and he expects to see little, if any, action during the exhibition season. Sanders led the Lions with 30 pass receptions last year.
That's a shame.
I know.
I wonder what kind of growing injury he has. Hello, you're on the radio.
Hi, this is Diane. How are you?
How you doing, Diane?
Okay.
You ready to ask our question already?
I'll tell you. Are you still looking for the answer to the other half of Johnny Vanderman?
No, we found it out Friday. It was Virgil Trucks.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Virgil Trucks? I thought it was Hal Newhouser.
No, it was Virgil Trucks.
Okay.
Unless you want to disagree with us.
No, I'll take your word for it.
I hope it's right. That's what we gave credit for the correct answer. Virgil Trucks and Johnny Newhouser.
No, Johnny Vanderman.
I mean, yeah, you got me confused. All right, Johnny Trucks and Virgil Mack. No, you're right. I have a question for you.
Do you have any other further comments on Daryl Johnson?
Yes, I have a lot of further comments on Daryl Johnson. Unfortunately, I think that, like Dick O'Connell said, it's easier to change the coach than it is a whole baseball team. But I think maybe if they'd have gotten rid of Fisk, Burleson, and Lynn, it might have saved Daryl Johnson's job, because I still feel that the non-signing of these 3 athletes have hindered the performance of the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, I was listening to that. wrap-up yesterday, and they had Cliff Keene and a couple of other writers on. And they just had the feeling that Johnson would be gone, and unfortunately it came into being. But they also felt that those three players had demoralized the team, something terrible, and next year they'll know not to take any unsigned players.
Yeah, well, it's a shame. You know, I just hate to talk about coaches biting the dust. There are a lot more players that bite the dust than coaches. I had 6 coaches in football, and they all bit the dust. And if a particular individual doesn't have a winning season this year down in Foxborough, he's going to bite a little bit of it too.
It's unfortunate, caller, but the coach and manager situation, the coach is always set up as a scapegoat. Unfortunately, what people fail to realize is the coach can't get out there and play the game.
He doesn't hit and he doesn't steal.
Exactly. However, I think Daryl Johnson had been criticized justifiably for his handling of pitchers, but to place the whole blame on him would be a great injustice. I agree with...
Well, they don't have a good pitching staff, and they're all the super hitters are around 250. They can't expect to win games with, hitting and pitching as it is.
Well, if you were listening to us last week, I predicted the Red Sox were going from the frying pan into the fire with Kansas City. All the experts said the Red Sox would come out with a split and they'd be all set, but I figured that there was a good possibility of the Sox to lose in a sweep, and luckily for them, Rick Jones pitched a pretty good game on Thursday night, and it avoided being completely swept.
I just have one question for you, Diane. Football, baseball, basketball is probably 99% mental, and maybe 2% or 1% physical. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. And
okay.
I think
I was just going to make this one statement. Might the problem of the Red Sox be more psychological than physical?
Yeah, it's demoralizing when they happened to be mentioning yesterday that, they wouldn't say who the players were, who were really upset, saying, well, gee, Fred Lynn made $20,000 last year, now he wants $950,000. Where does that place me? And they were all griping.
Well, the reason I made that statement, might the coach have something to do with their, the psychological makeup, the fact that they are not as prepared mentally to play the game as perhaps they could be or should be.
Supposedly Johnson let him have it after one of the games, or I guess it was during the rain last week. He just took him in, closed the doors, threw out all the writers, and, told him that it's time to start playing ball. And
well, more specifically, what I was referring to was the fact that the way he perhaps handled the ball players. For instance, the pitchers.
Some of the writers seem to think that Fisk and Lynn never would have gotten away with it with anybody else. That Billy Matthew wouldn't stand for it. Nobody would stand for what Daryl Johnson was going through with these players this year.
Well,
he
then
just should have sat them down on the bench and say, look, guys, this is where you're going to be until you can shape up. That's it.
Well, then Daryl Johnson has no one to blame except himself. Would you agree? If he took that from Carlton Fisk and Lynn, then he has no one to blame except himself, because the things kept snowballing until
it was too much and it was overwhelming, and they're 13 games behind, and he gets the axe.
Right. It's unfortunate.
Right.
But those are spoils of sports. Coaches go and players get cut. It's unfortunate, but it happens.
Right.
He'll get another job, though. For some reason, you can be an unsuccessful coach and still find a job.
Well, I hope so.
All right, thanks.
Something good over the weekend. That little girl from Romania, that gymnast.
Right.
Yeah.
Was
Nadia Comaneci.
Oh, fantastic.
She's super. Do you believe that girl's only 14 years old? She has the poise of a person 25.
Yeah.
She's super
That's
little.
all the discipline that goes into her training.
She's super.
Great.
As long as she's 14, I'm all for her. Show the grown-ups in the world that they just aren't that good. Thanks for your call.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, keep listening.
Yeah, bye-bye.
I don't feel sorry for Daryl Johnson. Wonder if our callers do. 893-4708. We'll be right back.
Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. Hey.
The Boston Globe. You read it, you talk about it, sometimes you disagree with it, but now you've got a chance to look inside it, to take a tour of the Globe, New England's largest daily newspaper. First, you'll see a brand new multimedia show that explains how the Globe is put together every day. Then you'll get a walking tour of the Globe's plant, where more than 2,000 people work 7 days a week to bring you one of America's best newspapers. In fact, You may even meet one of your favorite staffers. Ray Fitzgerald, Jeremiah Murphy, Marion Christie, Larry Whiteside, or maybe Diane White, Ulrike Welch, or Paul Zepp. To arrange a visit, and tour reservations are necessary, simply dial 929-2653.
Today and every day, it's a brand new day.
Have you seen the Globe today?
Arthur Blair Associates is one of Boston's most prestigious secretarial placement agencies, specializing in banking, investment, publishing, legal, and media services. And we have a problem. We have too many positions and not enough qualified applicants. Salaries range from $150 to $245 a week, covering metropolitan Boston and a 25-mile radius. Please call 723-8130 or drop in at 19 Congress Street, Boston. That's Arthur Blair Associates, 19 Congress Street, Boston. The number to call again is 723-8130. Ask for Tom Fenney.
Welsh Travel Consultants, specialists in corporate and business travel, invites all travel coordinators and traffic managers to explore the advantages of having Welsh Travel provide your travel needs. Whether you're a one-man company or a large international company, you may need the services of Welsh Travel. Let us evaluate your present method of obtaining airline tickets, auto rentals, or hotel reservations. At no extra charge, Welsh Travel will provide all those services in a more efficient manner. Call Welsh Travel at 237-5707 for an appointment. That's 237-5707.
You're back on WHET, your Sports IQ with Jim Nance, Chris Haynes, and Dr. T. Hello, you're on the radio.
Yes, I want to answer Dr. T. In regards to Daryl Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
I certainly feel that the managers and the coaches are unjustly treated. For my observation in the few sports that I have watched conscientiously is the sports media tend to make gods out of one or two players. And eventually they turn out to be very temperamental artists. They can never do anything wrong. They're always right. When they feel like it, they play. And then who gets blamed but the coach? And I don't think it's right at all.
Well, Daryl Johnson was fired, I believe, because of the team's poor showing on the baseball field. Now, Daryl Johnson's job, I believe, as a manager or coach, whatever you'd like to consider him, is to inspire his ball players to play up to their capabilities each and every time they step foot on the field. Now, evidently, Daryl Johnson was not strong enough to tell Carlton Fisk or even have enough guts to bench a Carlton Fisk or Fred Lynn or Burleson, even though he did for a little while. He put them back in the lineup. When they had Hobson and Dillard playing and had Montgomery behind the plate, they were winning baseball games. But for some reason, Daryl Johnson succumbed to the pressure of putting him back into the game, and he lost his job, and he deserved to lose his job.
Well, this is exactly what I mean. He succumbed under pressure.
Yes?
Now, we have to question, where does that pressure come from?
Management. It comes above him.
That's right.
All right.
So, if your boss says you do this or you'll get canned, you do it. And another thing I dislike is...
Well, I disagree. I disagree with that last statement because if he's a coach, he's there to win, regardless of who tells him or who suggests that they play certain individuals. If he's there to win baseball games, then it's up to him to make his decision as to who's playing because it's his job that's on the line.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I'm sure a lot of coaches would love to play people, but if it doesn't coincide with the thought of the management. I think their hands. This is my personal opinion.
Caller, I'd like to add this. I think that, unfortunately, Daryl Johnson proved to be too weak to be in such an important position. I'd like a coach or a manager along the line of a Dick Williams or Billy Martin, a guy that's not going to take any guff from the players. You know, once when Billy Martin, I believe, was with the Twins, he was getting some guff from one Dave Boswell, left-handed pitcher, and Billy Martin promptly threw a couple of shots and decked him right out. So I'd rather see a manager, an Alvin Dark type, a Billy Martin, a Dick Williams, a type that is not going to take any guff from the players and is going to stand up to them because Daryl Johnson, I believe, made his own bed, and as they say, now he's got to lie in it.
And it's awful rough. But, you know, Colin, in a way, I have to agree with you. Coaches are treated unfairly or unjustly or whatever term you like to use because it's kind of hard, like you say, if you have a superstar ball player out there, to make him perform if management is not on your side. So maybe some of the blame should be placed in Dick O'Connell's lap also.
Oh, thank you.
You know, I'm not going to say that Dick O'Connell is not to blame for the atmosphere that's around the Red Sox camp at the present moment. I do not know Mr. O'Connell personally. I do know that I just finished reading a report, and Mr. O'Connell said it was a lot easier to change a coach than a ball club, right? Now, I think that's a very bad statement for him to make publicly because now these ball players are going to say, hey, man, we don't feel like playing there. Keep changing the coach.
You're right.
Well, so Dick O'Connell's got to take part of the blame. And, you know, I hate to talk about the people that are no longer with us, but maybe if Mr. Yorkie was still here, I don't think Daryl Johnson would have been fired. I think Dick O'Connell is very grateful now that he's in a position to really control this ball club, which he's been trying to do for the last 7-8 years. So Mr. O'Connell's on my list also.
Oh, no.
And he can't hurt me. He cannot fire me again. He can't fire me.
I enjoy your show very much.
Thank you very much. Keep listening.
Thank you.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
I think people might be upset that coaches are treated unfairly. What about ball players that get released and you read about them in the newspaper and they say this player had a bad attitude, and the reason that he had a bad attitude is because he went to the coach and said, I don't want to sit on the bench. I want to play. If I wanted to wear a uniform, I would have joined the Army. Now, that's a bad attitude.
I agree with you, Daryl, but I wasn't going to mention that to the lady because she was more specifically talking about Daryl Johnson as a manager and coach. And I wanted to talk about ball players and the fact that so many different things happen. And a ball player, just because, you know, he can they can find somebody else to replace him with a drop of a hat, all of a sudden the coach decides that a player has a bad attitude without any regard of having to answer to anybody. You've got a bad attitude, period, and they get rid of him. Just like the situation with Sam Hunt. Sam Hunt's 12 pounds overweight. So therefore, Coach Fairbanks, who sets an arbitrary weight of whatever Sam Cunningham's supposed to play, okay?
Hunt.
Sam, that's what I said. What did I say? Sam Hunt?
Cunningham.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sam Hunt.
All right.
Sets an arbitrary figure at what way he's supposed to play, and then says, I'm not going to allow him in the camp unless he gets down 12 pounds lighter.
Well, you know, it's just funny how sports fans can get upset when the boss is fired when all of them work for somebody too.
That's right, and going to get a job next week too.
What's really funny is I just can't understand it. You know, how would you like to play some trivia? And the heck with Daryl Johnson for a minute. I'm going to throw out a trivia question, you know. I like playing a little trivia. This is amongst the three of us.
Okay.
And we'll see how many are right before the show is over. My first question now, comes from a diehard sports fan. What heavyweight champion starred in All the Young Men? And this was a boxing heavyweight champion, and he starred in All the Young Men, and you get one guess right now.
This is to me?
Yeah, oh, to Chris, too. I'm going to take my guess.
All the Young Men.
Okay, you don't know, Chris?
I'm going to just throw out a name, Jersey Joe Walcott.
You threw one out? I'm going to throw out a name myself. I'm going to throw out, who's the guy that does Archie Moore. So I'm going to throw out Archie Moore. We'll see who's right later on. And the number to call is 893-4708. Not to answer that question, but if you'd like to discuss sports with us, you know, I really feel that Daryl Johnson was, who cares? Really. Do you really care whether Daryl Johnson was the manager or not the manager?
As far as Jim Nance is concerned, no, I don't.
You know something, Daryl, an interesting thing.
I'm more concerned about the Red Sox winning as a team, and I'm sure a lot of Red Sox feel the same way. They're interested in a coach that can take them to the rainbow, which is the playoffs. And whether that be Daryl Johnson or Pesky or whoever, that's what they're interested in.
I'd just like to add that Bobby Orr gets traded, Phil Esposito gets traded, Daryl Johnson gets fired. There's a big uproar for a little while, but life still goes on. I mean, we were all going to still get up in the morning. We're going to do our thing. The Red Sox will get up in the morning. It'll be forgotten. There'll be a little tempest in a teapot, and then, which is a sad thing.
It is.
It is forgotten.
People, you know, it's surprisingly, people forget very quickly.
The saddest thing in sports, I think, is when a great veteran retires and he gets that little one line.
Little bleep in the
and
the
don't even get his number retired or anything.
It just fades away out of everyone's mind.
Well, later, Daryl Johnson. Hello, you're on the radio.
Daryl,
Yeah.
this is John. How you doing?
What's happening, John?
I was just wondering, who's your pick between the two of you, Jim from Indiana and you from I don't know where, to replace Daryl Johnson?
Well, I know that Mr. Pesky would like that job very badly.
Yeah.
And I know that coaching positions are basically run very political, Politically, excuse me, and if Mr. Pesky has the right political connections, I think Johnny Pesky might be the next manager of the Red Sox.
Yeah.
He has been a manager before the Red Sox. Who is your pick?
My pick?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't decided, but I do agree they should dump Fisk, for sure.
Well, you're very smart.
And Burleson, he had a couple bad breaks. What are you going to do?
Yeah, a couple of bad breaks, how?
Well, just recently, you know.
What is Burleson betting at the present moment?
Huh?
What is his betting average? Are you familiar with his betting average?
No, you want me to look it up?
No, I don't look it up, but I'm telling you, it's so low that I would be embarrassed playing my option out or whatever, not signing a contract. I'd be happy to be on anybody's baseball team. Carlton Fisk hasn't thrown a guy out yet.
I don't think he can throw a guy out.
Oh, he can throw the ball straight. Now, he throws it right to second base. It's just after the guy slides in safely. Now, I think a catcher's job is to sometimes at least throw out a base stealer. You know, Bob Montgomery's not doing a heck of a lot better, but why should he if Carlton Fisk is a superstar?
The catcher's got to take charge, Carl. The catcher's got to be the hauler guy. He's got to direct things in the infield, and I don't think Carlton Fisk is doing that. In terms of the manager, I'd like to see Don Zimmer given a chance full-time next year. He came up through the Brooklyn Dodger organization, a very astute gentleman. Otherwise, if Earl Weaver's available from the Baltimore Orioles, I think if he came up here, you'd see some changes made, and trade winds would be blowing, etc.
Might as well let Carlton Fisk coach the team. He's been doing it for the last 86 games.
Why don't they let Yastrzemski coach?
Not bad.
You know?
Jim, you had a choice of coach?
No, I was just going to say that I think you're going to see some trades coming up. Well, you can't see any trades, during the year because the trading deadline is passed. But you're going to see some trades the first part of next year. As a matter of fact, on the off season.
Well, like you said, the catcher is the center of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Likewise, maybe you disagree. The quarterback is in football, right?
I agree.
How do the Jets keep naming? Other than he's a gate man.
Well,
he's a great quarterback.
Well,
you don't feel that way?
I agree, but
okay.
He's getting a little weak in the knees.
Well, he's still got a strong arm. As long as he keeps throwing that ball, that's what's important.
Caller, as long as he puts the points up on the scoreboard, I don't care if Joe Namath is playing in a wheelchair. I think he's proven to be one of the sharpest minds in football over the years, and he made the let's face it, he made the American Football League, and he's just done a super job over the years.
Oh, hey, don't get me wrong. I'm a big Namath fan all the way.
Uh-huh.
But he's got to develop his line, and they should have given Jimbo a better chance down there.
Well,
I like this call. You know that?
We won't disagree with you, Jim Nance's brother. I know you aren't Jim Nance's brother. I'm just joking. But Carlton Fisk has put a lot of points up on the board, too, for the opposing team. So maybe he has his value.
Well, this may be a biased call. This is being a Indiana, Pennsylvania boy.
Yeah.
But from what I read out of New York, Jim, raw deal.
Well, let me tell you something. I led the AFC in preseason in '73 and then sit on the bench, after the season started, which is unfortunate because I was looking forward to playing in New York and really doing my things in professional football. Played my ninth year in professional football. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and it was just too bad because I wanted to play football in National Football League still, but incidentally, as it turned out, it was all right anyway because I went with the World Football League and still did my thing.
Yeah, you did over 1,000 yards.
Twice.
Yeah.
Look here, caller.
Huh?
Do you think that Daryl Johnson's firing was justified?
No.
Okay, thank you for your call.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Goodbye. There's another country heard from Indiana, Pennsylvania. Who cares if Daryl Johnson was fired? 893-4708. Fickled fans.
Are you interested in learning the traditional art of Korean self-defense? Do you want to improve your timing, strength, and self-confidence? If you don't mind hard work that can give you the feeling of improving yourself and putting you in top physical condition, then you should contact New England Taekwondo at 5180 Washington Street, West Roxbury, teaching classes in Taekwondo and Hapkido Korean martial arts. Classes taught by Master Chung Kun Ma, 6th degree black belt. All classes taught by Master Ma, assisted by black belt instructors. This is a school still teaching the art of martial arts. Classes 5 days a week, morning and evenings. Special rates for group classes. Drop in and see a class or call for an appointment at 325-3838.
Sam's Outlet, located at 487 Moody Street, Waltham, and 107 East Berkeley Street, Boston, is a unique shopping experience. Sam's is a very different Army and Navy store. Sam's Outlet carries the finest in pre-washed garments, such as landlubber halter jumpsuits, short-sleeve jumpsuits, and a tremendous variety of stylish jeans. Also, Sam's has the landlubber dress coat, both long and short-sleeved. Sam's Outlet carries a huge inventory of Wrangler products, such as jackets, flares, straights, lightweights, heavyweights, in both pre-washed and regular denim. Just arrived for immediate selling are Wrangler flared corduroys in many colors at only $10.99. For the sportsmen, Sam's has camping equipment, such as Eastern backpacks, sleeping bags, Converse sneakers, and the internationally famous Spec track, tennis, and basketball sneakers. Sam's Outlet has clothes for the hard hat, too, specializing in brand names like Carhartt and Carter's. The feature of the week is a 100% polyester double knit tennis jacket for only $5 if you mention Jim or Daryl's name. It's a $15 value for only $5, but you must say the secret words, Jim or Daryl. When on Moody Street, visit Sam's Outlet and meet Ron the Rascal, Dynamite Dawn, and Jovial George. Remember, Sam's Outlet, an Army and Navy boutique.
Every home should have at least one chair that is specifically designed for rest and relaxation. And Hanley's of Waltham is just the chair. They are the exclusive New England deal of custom-made contour chairs. Custom-made contour chairs to fit your body, support you from head to toe in any of many positions, from upright to reclining. You can feel the gentle support of the kidney rolls in the small of your back where other chairs let you down. So for the utmost in relaxation, go to Hanley's, located at 286 Moody Street in Waltham, and ask for a free demonstration of the custom-made contour chair endorsed by me. It's the next best thing to resting in bed. That's Hanley's, 286 Moody Street, Waltham, where they also carry beautiful, custom-made fine furniture. You want a nice, relaxing chair that can be built and suited to your body? See Joe Hanley on 286 Moody Street. He's got the chair for you. Endorsed by me, Jim Nance.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you do now.
Is that right? Does it fit real good?
All over.
To your body?
Real good.
Like a glove?
That's right.
Got to do it then.
Right, real good.
All right. You're on the radio, WHET.
Daryl,
Yeah.
you seem to be down on Carlton Fisk.
I seen it be down on Carlton Fisk.
What
Right.
gives you that impression, caller?
If you were the way he's talking about him, he's always putting him down. I'd like to know if Daryl, if you were coaching the Red Sox, who would you pick to replace him?
Well, unfortunately, I got fired today.
Well, maybe we get the new Daryl in there.
You mean who would I... Hello?
Yeah.
Who would I pick to replace him on the team or anywhere?
Who would you? Anywhere really, except for
Guys that are playing?
Thurman Munson, maybe, but who else in the?
I would have kept Tim McCarver. I really would have. I would have kept Tim McCarver. No?
I still think Carlton
me-
Fisk is the best catcher the Red Sox had since Sammy White.
Well, you think that he's the best catcher since who?
Since Sammy White.
I won't even touch that statement. What has Carlton Fisk done to be considered the best catcher, except be the only one since Sammy White?
Well, he's had a good year. He's had a good year just about every year offensively.
He was the last 2 seasons before this one, Carly. He's been injured. I mean, I could play a half a year and look good. I mean, he's been injured. You know, he missed quite a few games last year. He missed quite a few games the year before. I would really like to know what Carlton Fisk has done so great, where he's considered so good. But how has he helped?
The fans seem to think he's right up there, picking him on the All-Star team.
Pardon me?
I think the fans must think he's right up there, picking him on
No.
the All-Star team.
No, Daryl Johnson picked Carlton Fisk
Well,
on the All-Star team.
The fans gave him a lot of votes.
A lot of votes didn't pick him, though.
A lot of votes got him in second place.
Well, second place is still a loser when you're only taking one.
Well,
And I think
it's pretty good considering you're picking all the catchers in the American League.
Caller, the judgment of the fans is sometimes suspect. If you'll remember, a few years back, they voted in a player to the All-Star team who wasn't even playing.
so. You know, I don't knock the fans now. I was just wondering, really, why Daryl Johnson was fired and Carlton Fisk not released. You feel that Carlton Fisk is he has a great contribution to make to the Red Sox, huh? You really feel that?
I feel he's a good catcher. Yes, I do.
Well, just let me. This is Jim Nance speaking. I want to say something on behalf of Carlton Fisk. Maybe Carlton Fisk could have performed or would have performed better had he had his contract situation straightened out prior to the season. Now, he would have played to his potential or better, but played much better than he is or has been. the past 86 games. Is that it? But unfortunately, with all this, because of the fact it's this is one thing hanging over his head and it's causing a demoralizing factor. Not into the Olympics. I had an opportunity coming out of college to participate in the Olympics, and matter of fact, my senior year, I decided not to sign a contract right away because I wanted to win the nationals again in '65. But if I would have waited to participate in the Olympics, then I would have had to sit out my '65 and '66 year.
And 67.
And 67. And the only problem is I was not going to, give up a football contract to become a professional football player, because what was I going to do after the Olympics as far as, a salary?
Do you happen to remember who won the Olympics that year? How the representative from the United States did?
I honestly don't remember.
You don't remember?
But I thought I would have had a pretty good chance in at least winning a medal had I gone. But I decided I'd rather play football. Because, what are you going to do after wrestling?
Not too much.
Right. I could have carried my medal around with me. Right? Would have gotten heavy after a while, though.
Pay the rent, though.
Caller,
telling me, right.
Caller, I'd like to ask you a question. Getting off Carlton Fisk a minute. Do you think that Daryl Johnson's firing was justified?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Why?
Yes.
Well, I think that I think the Red Sox got a good, solid club. For some reason, they're not gelling, and I think they're solid in just about every position, including catcher.
Uh-huh.
And I think that somebody's got to be let go. They've got to make some change, and I feel that probably the best change is to get rid of the coach. I feel that they're really strong in every position, and maybe somebody else can make them play better.
Well,
I got a question. Go ahead, Daryl.
I was just saying, I remember some teams making changes like that before. Mike Hollavac coached the Patriots in 1968. And it was a 4-10 season that year. So they let Mike Hollavac go because they thought that the Patriots football team could play better. So they brought in another guy, and he had a bad season. And they brought in another guy, and he had a bad season. They brought in another guy, and they had a bad season. Is it, even though I was a professional athlete, aren't the athletes at fault sometimes? Some of them might not play up to their potential? No?
That might have a lot to do with the coach, is what I'm trying to say.
I think it might be the coach. And you talk about the '68 Patriots. Did they have a championship year before that?
'66. Well, we were second in the Eastern Division.
Oh.
I know second doesn't win games, but we were second best anyway.
Well,
I was gonna bring that down to the situation where they are now. What are the Patriots going to do about Fairbanks? Are they going to continue in the direction they're going, or are they going to do something about that? They do have a lot of talent. They have the potential to win football games.
Or is this the players' fault this time that the Patriots don't win? Daryl Johnson might not be at fault this time. It might be the fact that those three ball players didn't sign, and it's caused a little dissension. But it might be a little bit higher than Daryl Johnson. It might be Dick O'Connell.
Possibly.
It could, we will never know, and it's hard for us.
Anybody else could really say.
Right, it's hard for us to do anything but voice an opinion as to what we feel about Daryl Johnson's being fired. All ball players on a particular team. We'll never know the inner workings of management and why really Daryl Johnson was let go.
Very good.
All right, thanks for your call.
Thanks for your opinion.
Some people do care about Daryl Johnson. People in New Hampshire, that's where he lives, I guess. I don't know where he's going from here, but we'll be right back. 893-4708.
Attention ball players and serious athletes. Nautilus New England in Newton is offering high-intensity workouts for the off-season athlete. Nautilus equipment is total body conditioning in just 30 to 40 minutes through full-range restive exercise machines. Nautilus training improves speed, strength, flexibility, cardiovascular output, and can be used to either gain size or burn off unwanted calories. Stop in and see why an overwhelming number of professional athletes from various types of sports have adopted Nautilus. You receive a free initial workout. That's Nautilus in Newton, 160 Charlemont Street, near Route 9 and just off Route 128, at exit 56E, Needham Street. The phone number is 965-0380. Call for more information.
Summer is here again. Time for leisurely car trips and well-deserved vacations. Unfortunately, all those plans for chasing the summer sun can turn sour when your car won't run properly. But preventative maintenance can be the key to ensuring that summer fun. Newton Auto Supply at 438 Lexington Street in Auburndale can help keep that summer dream machine running and looking like new. They offer a complete line of foreign and domestic automotive supplies. You'll find everything from nuts and bolts to major engine parts, quality parts, at the right price. They feature AC Delco, Walker Exhaust, and Dayco rubber products, along with a whole host of top-quality automotive products, too long to mention. Newton Auto also offers machine shop service. Let Newton Auto Supply help you pursue those summer rays with quality automotive supplies and accessories for your getaway machine at prices that won't dampen your summer spirit. So stop in or call 969-1191, Newton Auto Supply, 438 Lexington Street, Auburndale.
Homeowners, has peeling paint got you down? Well, the Bruce Siding Company has the answer to your peeling paint problems. Yes, eliminate painting forever with maintenance-free aluminum or vinyl siding. No more painting is not the only benefit of siding products, however. You can lower your heating cost and at the same time increase the value of your home. A wide range of exciting styles and color are now available. The Bruce Siding Company. They can solve all of your remodeling needs. Aluminum storm windows and doors, seamless aluminum gutters and roofing. They're just a few of the services Bruce Siding Company can provide for you. At Bruce Siding Company, the most important product is quality. For information on how you can have a maintenance-free home, call right now the owner, Bruce Borleo, 376-2706. That's 376-2706. If out of town, please call collect.
I don't care if the man was fired. Do you really care if the man was fired, executive producer? No, I don't blame you. He's fired, he's fired. Let's get another coach in. The fans don't care anyway. But here's our question for today. What heavyweight champion was the star of the Broadway musical version of Big Time Buck White? You know the answer? 893-4708. Hello, you're on the radio.
Yeah, good evening, Daryl. How are you tonight?
I'm fine. Yourself?
Good. What's happening out of the New York Giants football camp? You heard anything?
Yes, we've heard a lot about the New York Giants. They're still practicing.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, they get their pads on?
Yeah, I think they're in full pads. They started, 2 days ago, I believe. And you, by the way, you know that Spider Lockhart has hung up his cleats.
Yeah.
As old as they are.
Guy was a legend in his own time.
Yeah, and he's still a legend.
Hey, let me tell you something.
It's people are trying to figure out how he played 11 years.
Best one-on-one tackler the first 5 years he was in the league. After that, he slowed down.
Nah. The best one-on-one tackler ever to play free safety was Don Webb.
Don Webb.
Don Webb of the Patriots.
Absolutely the best one-on-one tackler to ever play professional football at the free safety position.
Yeah, that was when he was hitting the tackling dummy.
No, that was when he was hitting Ron Johnson and Tucker Frederickson and the rest of those, and Met Snells and those folks.
Hey, I remember when Ron Johnson and Tucker Frederickson used to run over him like he was a
Oh, no. That never happened.
Oh, yes, he
And
did.
second, matter of fact, I'm not tooting Daryl's horn, but Daryl Johnson, number 2.
Yeah, well, Daryl was a good football player, I admit that. He would have looked good in a New York Giant football uniform, huh?
Sure would have. Right now, I look good in anybody's uniform, including the United States Navy.
How about the South Boston Chippewas? They're looking for a cornerback.
You mean that
No, he doesn't
playground league?
He doesn't play that corner
Yeah,
anymore.
Daryl Johnson refuses to ride the bus, by the way.
Oh, really?
No, it's not that, man. I've seen some of that football, right? That is rougher than professional football. There is no way I could participate in that.
He doesn't play that
that's
corner
true.
anymore.
And, like I say, the Southie is advertising for a cornerback, huh?
Well, I don't play that corner. I really don't.
No?
Well, what's coming out of the New York Giants camp? Why don't you tell us?
I'm in a crazed state here. I haven't heard anything, huh?
Well, I guess no word's a good word. You know, right now we're Patriot fans. We're New England Patriot fans. We're very concerned with the New England Patriots. We have a star linebacker that came in 12 pounds overweight, and the coach will not let him practice until he gets down to 245. We're trying to get Sam Cunningham signed. We're trying to get Tom Neville healthy. We just do not have the time to be concerned with the Jersey Giants.
I'll change your mind.
Okay.
Keep that giant pendant now. We'll be a bet, huh?
All right.
Yeah, you got a great show.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice evening.
All right, I'll ask this question again. What heavyweight champion was the star of the Broadway musical version, Big Time Buck White? 893-4708.
Well, we have with us, via the amazing tape of our executive producer, Len Charmerly, another report from the Patriots training camp.
That report will be coming up in a minute. We must be having the same trouble the Giants fans are having trying to get a report out of their training camp. And now, do you know the answer to that question? The first one I asked you, about what heavyweight champions starred in the movie All the Young Men? That was not for our listening audience. It was a heavyweight champion boxing.
That was...
We already gave up on that.
All right, it's Ingemar Johansson. He was a movie star. It goes to show you, if you have any ability at all, and you can't box and you can't participate in sports, you can always go on television.
He had a great right hand, but I'll tell you, he blew up to about 260 pounds, and Floyd Patterson really did.
He had a great left jaw, too. It attracted a lot of boxing gloves. It really did. It attracted a lot of boxing gloves. I like playing trivia. I was looking through the book, and it asked what team in the old AFL had the worst record of the original 8 teams in the AFL. What team compiled from 1960 to 1969 the worst record? Now, being football fans, you should know this. But, before we get to that question, I'm surprised that my panel doesn't know that answer. But here's our report from the Patriots camp in Bryan College, Smithfield, Rhode Island.
After morning-long physical examinations and a lengthy photo day session for the benefit of New England photographers, Coach Chuck Fairbanks held his first full squad workout here on Sunday afternoon with nearly 1,000 spectators on hand to witness the action. The session lasted for slightly more than 2 hours, after which the Patriots head coach expressed satisfaction with what had been accomplished. Coach Fairbanks explained that he did not intend to overburden the recently arrived veterans with a heavy workout, and that the Sunday afternoon drill was more of a get-acquainted session. The real work, according to Coach Fairbanks, will start on Monday when he has the 86-man squad in action for morning and afternoon drills. Reporting on the results of physical examinations, Coach Fairbanks explained that offensive tackle Tommy Neville and defensive end Craig Hanneman, both recovering from off-season surgery, had been placed on the physically unable to perform listing, but will be kept on the club's active roster. Inside linebacker Sam Hunt checked in at 12 pounds over his weight limit and has been restricted from working out with the team until he reaches his assigned weight of 245 pounds. Linebacker Bob Geddes, the only veteran who failed to report with the new group on Saturday night, will join the team on Monday morning when he flies in from Denver. The Patriots' Monday workouts are due on the field at 9:10 and 3:10, with the usual free admission policy in force. This has been your latest report from the Patriots training camp at...
Are you getting in shape for summer? Auburndale Sports Shop will be sure to please you in any particular sport. We carry most major brand names such as Wilson, Rawlings, Spalding, Hyde, and Johnson, plus many, many more. And with the good weather approaching, you might just need a new racket. Come on down and get a good deal on a high-quality tennis racket, or get your old one restrung at a fair price. We also offer to you a large selection of athletic shoes, Puma, Beta, and Nike. We also supply teams and league equipment and uniforms for all the major sports. So if you're looking for an energetic summer, or if you want to outfit your family with the highest quality equipment for any season, come on down to Auburndale Sports Shop, 419 Lexington Street in Auburndale. Ask for Rob or Jimmy. That's the Auburndale Sports Shop, 419 Lexington Street in Auburndale.
There are 7,000 athletes, men and women facing the most demanding challenge in their lives, to prove they're the best in the world, to win an Olympic medal. Reporting on them calls for performance that matches those efforts. That's why the Boston Globe is sending their best, a whole team to bring you Olympic coverage unmatched in New England. Lee Montville, Ray Fitzgerald, and John Powers, with reports from the finish lines and playing fields. And Al Larkin will be there to cover the color of Montreal. This plus a daily guide to the pick of TV coverage. If you're following the Olympics, the Globe is an absolute must. Look for the special Olympic section on each of the 16 days of competition. It promises to be truly Olympian coverage, and only in the Globe. Have you seen the Globe today?
Well, Daryl, we're going to eulogize you just before the show goes off. If people care to stay on that long to hear our eulogy for Daryl Johnson, we have one. Hello, you're on the radio, WHET.
Good evening, Daryl.
Good evening.
Daryl, first of all, may I take a long shot chance at that question?
Go right ahead.
Would it be Jack Johnson?
What question? Oh, the Buck White?
Yeah.
No, it would not be Jack Johnson.
Okay.
All right.
Now I'd like to comment on Daryl Johnson,
Yes, sir.
the ex-baseball manager.
Yes, sir.
What I cannot understand, and this happens all the time in sports, and you become familiar with it, is the fact that this same individual managed the team last year to a pennant, to the seventh game of the World Series. Obviously, this year he starts out managing the same way, I would imagine. You know, you don't change that drastically from year to year. However, the players on the field are not doing the same thing, and then the man becomes a scapegoat. It's always bothered me in sports that the coach or the manager, but like you mentioned earlier, O'Connell made the statement, it's easier to fire a manager than it is a player. I just wonder if, why the Red Sox could not have waited till the end of the season to let him go.
I think it was an economic change in the fact that in order to keep attendance, and the Red Sox's attendance this year is absolutely tremendous, and in order to keep the people coming back to the Red Sox field, Fenway Park, 13 and a half games out of first and 4 games out of the cellar, to appease the fans. Now, this is my opinion and what I believe. They fire the coach to give the fans new hope.
Good point.
That's what I feel. It's an economic move. Now, if the Boston fans love a winner. Now they still get that 10 potential of being a winner, yes. And they still get their 10, 13, 14,000 in Fenway Park. But Boston's been drawing 29 and 30 in a weekday, and now with the hiring and the firing of Daryl Johnson and the hiring of a new coach, people now can still have that glimmer of hope that 13 games are not too much to make up and catch the Yankees because there's still 60-something games left. So I think it was an economic move.
That's a very good point. However, though, wouldn't it be interesting to see an individual like Red Auerbach take over the Red Sox to see the reaction of some of the players? I'm saying this...
that type of an attitude, you mean?
Beg your pardon?
That type of an attitude, you mean?
That's right. That's right.
I don't think that the players on the Red Sox team could deal with... I don't think the majority of the Red Sox players could deal with the Red Auerbach no-nonsense attitude. I don't think they've been indoctrinated to that way of coaching.
Then that's obviously a reflection on the Red Sox because the Boston Celtics, the greatest team in basketball over the years, have been able to deal with the Red Auerbach theory, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So I take that as a reflection on, in other words, you're saying the Red Sox players themselves are not, 100% professionals, I guess.
I did not say all of the Red Sox players.
Right, but a good portion of them, right?
No, I think all of them are professionals. Jimmy, have something to say?
I was just going to say,
not going to trap me again.
It depends on how you're indoctrinated. Like you have different coaches, their mannerisms, their ways of coaching. Like you have a guy like Mike Holloway. Okay, the guys that play for Mike Holloway, that doesn't mean they could play for a Vince Lombardi. It's a totally different attitude. The type of guy that could play for a Mike Holloway may not be able to play for a Vince Lombardi or vice versa. It depends on the type of individuals. That doesn't make them any less professionals. Okay, it depends on how they're indoctrinated. That's really what it amounts to.
Caller, this is Chris Haynes. I'd like to add this. I think Daryl earlier in the show mentioned that maybe the problem was a little bit higher up than the manager, and I tend to agree. Over the years, the Red Sox have had the reputation of being a country club ball club, even though they had a stern manager like Dick Williams. And it seems as though this image as being a country club ball club has gone through many different managers. So I wonder really if the problem isn't higher up. And even if they do bring in a fellow like an Earl Weaver, a no-nonsense guy, whether this image may still persist.
Okay. Can I add this, though, to what I agree, especially what Daryl says. I agree that it could be an economic move. But
more than likely it is. Go ahead.
2 weeks before the All-Star game, and I am just an average fan. I have no connections or what have you. 2 weeks before the All-Star game, a friend of mine called me up, and we were just shooting the bull, and he said that at All-Star game time, Johnson will be fired. Shortly after that, Earl Weaver will be let go, and at the end of the season, Weaver will be coming here. Now, this was from an individual who knows a few people, but all I'm trying to think of is if this individual was aware of it, how many other people, especially in the media, would be aware of it. This individual I'm talking about is, again, just a friend of mine. He's in the radio business. And he told me this several weeks before the All-Star game. And I'm just wondering if...
Well, he must be tuned into something that, that we as announcers are not aware of. But that can happen. A lot of things can be in the fire, and, everybody, those things come out sooner or later, Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Right. What I was thinking, Jim, though, was I would think the players, and possibly the players being aware of it.
I'm sure the players are the first ones to know about it.
And then, obviously, their play, immediately after the All-Star game. I'm just wondering if I'm not trying to drum up anything. I'm just wondering if there's a tie-in.
Right, there could be some reflection about it. You could be right. Right now, matter of fact, we're going to check into that, and matter of fact, we have to break for a commercial. So if you hold on, we might be able to come right back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, this is your Sports IQ, and it's approximately 3.5 minutes of 7 o'clock. Number to call is 893-4708.
Sam's Outlet, located at 487 Moody Street, Waltham, and 107 East Berkeley Street, Boston, is a unique shopping experience. Sam's is a very different Army and Navy store. Sam's Outlet carries the finest and pre-washed garments, such as Landlubber halter jumpsuits, short-sleeve jumpsuits, and a tremendous variety of stylish jeans. Also, Sam's has the Landlubber dress coat, both long and short-sleeved. Sam's Outlet carries a huge inventory of Wrangler products, such as jackets, flares, straights, lightweights, heavyweights, in both pre-washed and regular denim. Just arrived for immediate selling are Wrangler flared corduroys in many colors at only $10.99. For the sportsmen, Sam's has camping equipment, such as Eastern backpacks, sleeping bags, Converse sneakers, and the internationally famous Spec track, tennis, and basketball sneakers. Sam's Outlet has clothes for the hard hat, too, specializing in brand names like Carhartt and Carter's. The feature of the week is a 100% polyester double knit tennis jacket for only $5 if you mention Jim or Daryl's name. It's a $15 value for only $5, but you must say the secret words, Jim or Daryl. When on Moody Street, visit Sam's Outlet and meet Ron the Rascal, Dynamite Dawn, and Jovial George. Remember, Sam's Outlet, an Army and Navy boutique.
Arthur Blair Associates is one of Boston's most prestigious secretarial placement agencies, specializing in banking, investment, publishing, legal, and media services. And we have a problem. We have too many positions and not enough qualified applicants. Salaries range from $150 to $245 a week, covering metropolitan Boston and a 25-mile radius. Please call 723-8130 or drop in at 19 Congress Street, Boston. That's Arthur Blair Associates, 19 Congress Street, Boston. The number to call again is 723-8130. Ask for Tom Fenney.
Although we like to talk very much about the Olympics, you'll have to tune in tomorrow, 6:05 to 7 on your Sports IQ, because Daryl Johnson's firing has overshadowed the Olympics. And the panel of your Sports IQ have sat down and wrote this eulogy for Daryl Johnson. Roses are red, violets are blue. The Red Sox are losers, so they got rid of you. Sorry, Daryl, that's how the cookie crumbles. For Jim Nance, Chris Haynes, don't frown like that, Chris. We can't get into trouble. Our executive producer is Lynn Sharmley, and we have fun all the time. So stay tuned tomorrow, same time, same place. We'll be back, I hope.
This is WHET, 1330 AM in Waltham. It's 7 o'clock.